Well, as you can see, the smoke's rolled in yet again. Mid-July, just out here checking some crops today. So we're gonna take a look at some wheat today. As you can see, our wheat's starting to change color a little bit. It's got a little bit drought stress earlier on in the year. See some hoppers jumping around a little bit here. So you can see some of the heads are a little bit smaller than others. Overall, it looks okay, but the heads are definitely small. Kind of like that this year, just with the drought conditions we've had. Everything's just a little bit dry. Came up okay, and then we ran out of moisture, sometime mid-June, and just really haven't had much till the last week or so here. So see how things finish up, but yeah, there's definitely some small heads, stuff like that. It's just not very big, but sprayed a little bit of fungicide on some of this stuff. This stuff didn't get it just because there's just not too much here yet. So, but there are some bigger heads in here. That one is a decent enough size. So anyway, we'll move on and we'll take a look at some other stuff here. Okay, just pulled over to check some peas here. As you can see, pea crop looks pretty average for this time of year. Lots of pods, but just not much for thickness. It just got a little bit too dry. I am on an approach here right now, so you can't really see the inside of the crop, but it's okay. Like it's vined together a little bit, but definitely, smaller, fairly small pods. There's only about, 5 or 6 peas in that one. So it won't be a huge pea crop this year, but there's lots of peas right close to the ground here too. You can see it. They really got down close to the ground. They didn't grow very high this year for some reason, just maybe a little bit too dry early on or whatever it was, but there's still enough here. Like it'll still be enough to combine, I think. Won't yield like crazy, but there'll be enough here that if they do fill, we'll get a decent enough crop. There are a few big pods, so you can crack them open and still won't be too much formed here. Try to do this with one hand, but yeah, so they're about this size right now. Over the next 3 weeks they'll fill, and probably second week of August we'll be getting close to ready to harvest these things. Then just moving across the field across the road to this field here, we've got our canola. As you can see, it's basically mid-flower right now, just kind of getting going on the flowering side of things. See lots of hoppers jumping around out here, and of course you've got lots of weeds kind of by this approach, but same thing, canola, that looks pretty poor, to be honest. Just dried out early on, and you can see it's only about 2 feet tall. So normally this crop could be 3 or 4 feet tall this time of year. So it's definitely a poor crop right now. You can see some of these areas are a little bit stagey. Some are mid-flower, some are early flower, some are basically completely flowered now. So yeah, the pods they're okay length, but definitely nothing to write home about. So yeah, let this flower. It has been cool the last little while, so that might save this a little bit. Just let these pods fill out. The smoke, as you can see, you can barely see the sun up there. It's really smoky today. It's kind of been off and on smoky up here for the last 2 months. We've had lots of fires rolling up in the north. So yeah, hopefully this clears up at some point, but it looks pretty bleak for the next few days. We have been getting some rain, so hopefully it keeps going further north and starts putting out some of these fires. But yeah, that's what's going on here. You can see there's lots of weeds around these approaches, some kochia, all the good stuff here. Makes our job a lot of fun at harvest time, having to deal with all that stuff going through the combine. But there are a few big plants in here. Like there's You know, they're potted relatively deep, so there could be a few bushels here. We'll see how things turn out, but, and then of course we're right by the highway, so anyway, we'll keep moving on here. Okay, just pulled up to this last field we're gonna check today. This is our barley. You can see we got a few wild oats coming up in here, but just kind of around these approaches more than anything. But the barley's actually looking pretty good. You can see it's just kind of coming out of its boot now, but you know, pretty decent heads when you look at it here. I know it's probably a little bit hard to see in the picture, but you know, if you pull back this leaf there, you can see we've got about a 4 or 5 inch head on it. So depending on how this stuff fills, it actually might turn out pretty good. But these stupid wild oats will definitely rob a little bit of our yield. They're tough to get rid of unless you get at them early spraying. But yeah, the barley's gonna finish not too bad, I think. So we'll see how that turns out. But anyway, just wanted to do a little crop check. So we'll catch you in a few.